Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. I'm James. I know, I'm in a sling, but you're still watching Blue Dog Aquatics. Now, today, I know I showed you the unboxing video of when this particular tarantula came in. If you haven't seen that already, check it out. But today we're talking about the Theraphosa Stirmi, also known as the Burgundy Goliath Eater. Now these guys are absolutely insane. They have all kinds of bad news written on them, but they're really, really cool. Starting with, their bite isn't that bad. However, with 1-inch fangs, you're more likely to get tore up by one than the bite. You're like, oh, I got bit. Oh, I'm missing a finger. No, I'm kidding. You're not going to miss a finger, but they are going to do some serious damage if they bite you. Now, that isn't even the worst part. Another thing, these guys grow to 11 inches. Think about that. That's like a dinner plate. That is a huge, and that's leg span. That's not talking about just their carapace. That is overall leg span. Your males are typically going to live 4 to 6 years, whereas your females are going to be up in the 20 years. Now, this one right here just came in. We don't know the sex of it yet. We'll have to wait for it to molt, but we are going to rehouse it from the cup it came into well, it's home while it's here at the store. Hopefully someone buys it with it, because I put a lot of work into this enclosure. But the tricky thing with these guys is that they have 3 different types of urticating hairs. So whereas most of your arachnids, most of your tarantulas only have 1, this species actually has 3. And this is a true Goliath. These fall under the same category as the Theraphosa blondies. So these guys get massive. And if you want to know what a big girl looks like, check out the Dark Den. His Theraphosa Stirmi is absolutely huge. But without further ado, let's jump into this. So, and hence with the hairs, that's why I have gloves. Anytime you have, or you're rehousing, or let's say you get one in a cup at a show or a trade or a store or whatever, just throw away the cup. Don't even bother saving it, washing it. We do it all the time, trying to save ourselves a little bit of money on, when we send animals home. But with these guys, I throw the cup straight away. Something else to be mindful of: once these guys create a burrow, you need to be very careful, because as a preventative measure to deter off predators, they will actually line their whole cavern with hairs. So I would recommend wearing a mask if you're going to clean out their enclosure or move them up to a bigger enclosure, or heck, just throw away the enclosure. But so right now, today, so this is actually a new type of enclosure, and if you want, I can do a video on it. But this is actually a biotarian. I've never had this type of enclosure before, but it was really easy to assemble. It actually came in a box, and all the pieces snap together very, very simply. It does have a sliding lock top on it, which we will get ready before we put the animal in. But this is 11.5 by 19.5 by 10 inches tall. As you can see, we're trying to create a space where we can still see the tarantula, but it still feels safe. So this is actually a very large piece of driftwood that we put in here. It's all one piece, and I actually hot glued it to the side of the glass. That way, if the tarantula is moving around, the piece of driftwood won't. We also put reindeer moss in here. It's artificial, it's not real reindeer moss, but the Stirmi is going to mess it up regardless. That's why I was like, well, do I want to put live moss in here? No, not really. There is a little bit of live sheep moss in here, so we did accommodate that. We also have a water dish. There's springtails and isopods in here to help reduce the chance of mold, because these guys, temperature-wise, you're looking 75 to 85 degrees overall, with humidity about 80%. With a tarantula this size, this tarantula is going to be eating every other week, typically at this size. I'm guessing that it's about 5 inches, maybe 6, once it stretches out. We'll get a picture of it once it actually gets in the enclosure. But you can see down here, we gave lots of different areas for it to move around, and that is, we don't want this animal stressed. I tell people, I'm like, I don't care if this animal is in my custody for a day or if it's in my custody for a year, which we actually do have. Our mangrove monitor, she's actually been with us for a year, over a year now. So, screen top lid. The nice thing about this, and I actually found these online, is there's actually a feeding port. So if you don't want, if you have, this is a New World species. They're typically pretty laid back, but in the case that you have like an Old World that is very bolty, that little cup right there, or that access port, is really nice. Pop it open, drop the bug in. These guys are going to be eating roaches and superworms, so let's hope that she behaves. And I say she, but yeah, this is what they classify as a medium. I mean, look at that. Just absolutely insane. Now, we're going to... I've been watching a fellow arachnid lover. He's actually over in Europe. Dave's Little Beasties. He's on YouTube, so if you haven't seen his videos already, check him out. But I'm actually going to take a kind of a rule out of his book, because with tarantulas, especially large ones, you can get jittery, you can get going. The best thing for it is to be calm, collective, and relaxed, because if you do that, then the tarantula is going to do the same. And with something as nasty as this, we don't want any hiccups. So I'm going to slowly take the lid off here. Hopefully she will come out really nice. Now, if you want to come closer, you can zoom in. Look at that. That's just absolutely incredible. Just so pretty. But as you can see, the tarantula is still very calm. That's the way we want to keep it. So I have my stick here. Some people use paint brushes, but I'm just going to set it down here, and we're going to try to guide the tarantula into, whoa, well, it leaned forward and everything went in there. So, but it is doing just fine. I'm actually going to steal the camera from Heather here, but you can see no threat posture, doing nice. It's going to start exploring and start moving around the enclosure. But I mean, look at the size of that carapace. That is just, and it has a good sized booty, but I mean, it is a little bald. So I'm hoping that it will, once it gets settled in here, that it'll go through a molt for us, and then we can determine what sex it is. But you can see we have the caverns over there. So I'm hoping once it wanders around a little bit, it might get some water over here, but yeah, it's just checking it out. We are on guard here. I do, because those legs are really big, I'm on guard with the door because it would take it 2 seconds to come up and out the side. But I mean, look at that leg span. That is just, look at that. That is just insane. That is 10 inches tall. I mean, for granted, you have a couple inches of substrate, but look at that leg span. That is just crazy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, guys, the big question, your tank or mine?